Hello guys, welcome to my channel. In this particular video, I'm going to show you how to use the T-RackS tape echo plugin. The T-RackS tape echo plugin. As you can see here, this is a very interesting plugin. As you can see, this particular plugin is used to mimic an analog tape machine back in those days. So it has those analog tape features. As you can see up right here, you can see the way it's moving around, showing you the image of a moving tape. So a moving tape back in those days has this crunchy sound, weighty, with heavy low end and all that. So those particular qualities that you find in the tape those days, that's what this particular sound carries. So we're going to import our audio, of which our audio is already here. So I'm going to turn down, so our audio right here is just a sample kick and a snare. So it has both, is a stereo audio. You have the first track here, you now have the second track here. So right in this tape echo, you now have the input volume. You have the input. Let me drop this to the input volume. So the input volume is here. With the input volume, you can be able to increase. So you can see how loud the input volume is. So with the input volume, you can be able to give your sound more volume. You see how it becomes. You see how it becomes very, very high. Then we'll have another button here, which you can switch between stereo and A, and it is titled AB. So AB here simply means you have the first audio track and you have the second audio track. So this first audio track can be labeled A, and this second audio track can be labeled B. So it's just for you to switch between the two speakers. So when you switch this button to A, you can be hearing what is happening on the A side of the speaker. When you switch it to B, you begin to hear what is happening on the B side of the speakers. So you're switching between the two track signal. Okay, we'll put it in the middle. So in the middle, you can hear completely stereo sound. So here on this right, as you can see, I can move this one around. So this one around is actually the tempo track, but you can put the tempo. So this is your echo time. So echo time means your tempo, your regular tempo that you have in your FL Studio, Cubase, and the rest. So with this, you can be able to set your tempo at which the audio that you have. Then this particular knob here, A and B. So when you want to put in the echo effect, so this is where you just have to, for the first A track here, when you apply this effect, it will take effect. Let's demonstrate. Turn down, then I'll put it on B. So it sounds on B, right? So before you can actually get this echo right, you make sure that this particular box here is for tempo. Like this particular sound that I'm using in here has a tempo of 100. So I'm just going to get in double click, highlight, and you type 100. So you must make sure that you put the right tempo. As you can see, this particular stuff just dropped below. If I drag it again, you can drag here to give you 100. Or to be more accurate, you can just right click and put 100. Right, so the tempo is set. Then the next one, you just have this sustain. So sustain simply means to elongate the effect. After you have added the effect to your track button here with A and B, all here you do is to elongate the effect. I'm just going to demonstrate that. I'm going to add my effect on A. That is meant to sustain, to stretching the sound, and that gives you another unique sound entirely. So I did that on this first track. So what you did on the first track, definitely you're going to do it on the second track, which is B, right? So here you sync the BPM. So the BPM is also, we are using this is also the BPM 1/2 BPM. So right now we are on same. So if you're using this quarter BPM, so you're definitely going to know your BPM of your beat. But right now I'm using the other BPM in time. All right. So we have the switch and on button of the echo. Just go off. So right now we have our level meter that will help you to monitor the loudness of the beat you are putting in. So this is in. The signal that is coming in, you can see between 3 to 2 bar, and this is the output, right? So for example, for the now, we are monitoring our in signals. Also, we have a little box here where that mimics the complete analog of the tape. So on here, you can have a distortion, tape wear. So this particular tape wear here means when you have a bad tape, like those days when your tape is bad, there's a certain sound it's going to be making. So they try to mimic that sound inside here to add that color to your mix. We also have a noise. So you can hear the hum in there. So we used to have that noise back in those days when we used to use a cassette, you know, especially when you have low current power, poor current power in your mix, you begin to hear that hum in it. So this is exactly Flucta. So when your tape is not stable, this is the kind of effect it gives to you. Recording level. So this is much a little bit on the analog side of the effects where you can add effect to it. So what we're going to do here is actually this tape effect is very, very unique, man. It's very, very unique to add more flavor to your mix. So I'm actually using this in the T-RackS environment. You can actually use this same effect. It can appear on your Cubase, plugin section. It can also appear on your FS Studio if you are using BandLab. So any kind of audio recording software that you have on your VST section, you can actually get this echo tape effect there. So we're going to demonstrate how we can actually use this to add more echo to our mix to create unique sounding sound. So on our A side, I'm just going to add some few percentage, let's say 1.7. I'm going to do the same to. So ensure that when you're adding 2%, this is 2%, and I'm just going to add 2% as well. So with the tempo of 100, so depending the amount you want to add, you can see that particular echo effect that is added in the background. So I want to add a sustain to give it that effect. So back in those days, it's actually used to mix your drums, your drum sections, and any instrument you want it. You can also add it to your guitar. You can add it to your bass line. You can add it to. So depending the instrument you want it to add it to create a background repetition or a flavor. For example, if I remove this particular sound right here, you can see how bare it is. It's just bare on the floor. But if I want to create a rumble on the background, to create more effects on the background of this sound, to give it more unique melody and vibe, I can just add this effect to it, right? Yeah, you can agree with me that this is actually awesome. So we can just go here and experiment. Maybe I want to add a little noise background to give it that weight, okay? Just come here. So guys, as you can see, it's actually sounded very unique in a certain way, and you can see the flavor is becoming very more interesting, or like just being regular. We can just come here and preview, like say off mode, then we can put it this before and this after. Wow, you can tell it's sounding very funky right now, right? So you can just tweak all the button around so you listen out for the flavor you're going to get, right? I'm going to reduce a bit, let's say off 1.5%. So we're going to reduce the echo just to make it happen in the background. Okay, this is 1.5. I'm just going to add 1.4 here. Wow, you can agree with me that this is very, very cool. This is very cool, right? Before, after. Before, after. So you can see this is actually used for if you want to go off regular sound that you have in your mix or in your beats. This is exactly the kind of effect that you're going to use. So it is usable for any kind of instrument you want to give it a background flavor, right? So you can add it to your guitar, you can add it to your kick, your snare, you can add it to your melody, you can add it, so just to give it a background and in-depth flavor inside your mix. Okay, so right now I'm just going to give it enough input to see how it's going to go. So we can just reduce the effect a bit. 1.3, 1.3. So I just want to compare with this. So how about the output volume? So how about the output volume? So we have it. How about the output volume? So we have it. How about the output volume? So we have a very strong output volume right here. As you can see from the output volume, we already have about 11, 10, 9 RMS. So which indicates that this particular sound, which 10 to 11 RMS, which indicate that this particular sound is very punchy, right? You can also mess around with the tempo. Let's say we'll try something like this. This is a very cool flavor when we mess around with the tempo. So right now we're using 1.155 as our tempo, and as you can see, the flavor has changed. So we're just going to try another tempo. Wow, this is another flavor entirely. This is another flavor entirely. So guys, you can mess around with the tempo, and we're just going to try another one. Wow, this is another good flavor entirely. So guys, this is one very good use of this tape echo plugin. It is very good for funky, for mixing, for your audio, for your guitar, your snare, your percussion, whatever. You can actually use it to create a good melody background. You can see the kind of background that is going on in there. The flavor is wow. So you don't need to overcrowd your mix, but with this just echo tape effect, you can just make your mix sound so great. So you can actually, when you have T-RackS installed in your system or in your computer, it can actually reflect on your VST section of any kind of software you're using. It's also presented there in your FL Studio, Cubase, if you're using Cubase, if you're using whatever DAW that you are using, this particular effect will appear there as well. This particular effect also appear in my FL Studio, and I use it a lot. So I just come to this T-RackS environment to show you how it really works. So you can actually replicate the same thing, just replicate the same thing for you to generate a new mix and flavor on your project. Okay. So you can also do it to mess around with the different tempos to give you the type of flavor that you're looking for. All right. So I'm just going to try the sustain effect to stretching out to elongate the effect to see how it's going to affect the mix. Wow. So guys, this is pretty much on how to use the tape echo effect, the T-RackS tape echo effect. So make sure you utilize and follow the step-by-step of what I just did. Replicate exactly the same thing and you're going to get a good result. So do it to subscribe to this channel and ensure that you watch other video tips and tricks on how to be better in music production. And don't forget to join our Telegram music production class. The link is in the description below. So make sure you join where you can get regular videos on tips and tricks on how to become professional in music production. See you in the next video, guys.